Okay, to begin with, I was very much aware that DR Congo could and potentially would upset England. I understood the prospect of football. It had happened only 48 hours prior in an enterprising fixture between Germany and Paraguay. And the reason I stayed calm after DR Congo scored early, because I understood England have faced setbacks before, perhaps not so much in the World Cup, but of late in the Euros, against Switzerland, against Slovakia, against Holland, against Spain. And in 3 of those games, they found the urge, found the way to come back and mount a comeback, which almost cemented them in history. Almost. So I think England generally play better when they're behind, when they go behind early. And being an England fan also tests your patience in so many ways. And it also gives you comfort in knowing that if they lose, they lose. And you have been through excruciating losses. So finding comfort in knowing that they can lose after just conceding early is better than losing right at the death, for me. That's just my personal opinion. But I think everyone will be talking about Kane. I want to talk about Jude Bellingham. I want to talk about England's resistance. Jude Bellingham is England's engine, quite frankly. He will be England's next captain. You watch him on the pitch. His aura, infinite aura. And this term is not used lightly. I'm placing it on a player that I know will wreak havoc wherever he goes. And he's rightly England's 10. He's deserving of it. He's deserving of all the praise he gets. And now England face, in the Azteca, a very tough and formidable Mexico side that also shouldn't be taken lightly. They should not be underestimated in any format whatsoever. And I think England will be aware of that. I still think that England will prevail, just because England, and this is where I still support Tuchel, and I'm standing very much by his side, is he emphasised that England's playing style is very much adaptive to stronger opponents that like to play sort of like to have equal possession and don't like to sort of bunker in, play the back 5 and park the bus. And I think England can expose these nations by pressing high, recovering the ball, and then sort of outnumbering them, right? And finding the gaps, I think, as they did against Croatia. Croatia were perhaps the only side, with the exception to Ghana for some parts perhaps, that weren't parking the bus. And I think that's why England succeeded to that extent. Their game plan is very much centered around that. I think if they play Mexico will want to dominate early, they will want to score early, and I think England can take advantage of that. So we're entering sort of the stage where this tournament really begins for England. With all respect to Congo, the DRC, England's ambitions going into this tournament, they were never going to lose this, and they never should have, which they didn't, gladly. So this tournament was always going to start round of 16, perhaps even round of last 8 quarterfinals against Brazil, but we'll see what happens there. Brazil also faced an interesting Norway side. So a lot to talk about. I think Jed Spence, awful. In my opinion, Jordan Pickford, awful. Should have saved that. A quality goalkeeper gets a hand to that and stops it. Simple as that. His distribution was poor again. In my opinion, he's too erratic. I think that's the word that kind of labels it. And aside from that, back line is another issue. I mean, yes, I spoke about we don't have a proper right back. You can lament Tuchel for that all you want. I don't think that gives it justice. I think it's the issue that we're unlucky with injuries, and Jed Spence, he has the pace, yeah, but he's just absent-minded. It's almost like all the goals that England have conceded on the left side were because the right back was in dreamland. It was somewhere in space. He wasn't fully focused. He wasn't marking his man. England's defence has generally been poor. Not a lot to show for Nico O'Reilly, who was very promising, came into this team for the first time. And same with Stones, Gahey and Konza. Not much flashy. Anderson, I think, in my opinion, has been quietly good. Declan Rice, outstanding as well. Next to Bellingham is, I think, England's second sort of leader and motor. And in my opinion, if you have to, you slot him at right back, because he really kept it quiet down the right-hand side, the left-hand side, and really prevented any further attacks from coming to fruition, quite frankly. So I think that's always an option, backup option, but let's hope that Reece James and or Kwanzaa are fit for the round of 16 tie against Mexico. As for the wingers, catastrophe. I think Marcus Rashford is good, but sometimes he's too flashy. He's too good for his own sort of skill set, and so he obviously loses the ball, didn't have the best dribbles. Noni Madueke, I mean, God can only help me as to what Tuchel saw in him. Yes, I understand England want to play and get as much possession down those wings as they possibly can. But it still begs the obvious question as to what has Noni Madueke contributed to that. Did very little in the opening game, was subbed off early, changed the dynamic after he came off, did nothing against Ghana, did offer very little against Panama, and then was practically invisible, in my opinion. He put some crosses in, very tame, that what they were dealt with by the DRC centre-backs heading it out. And, you know, I'm still trying to understand, Noni Madueke, what are you offering to this England team? Bukayo Saka substantially better. The question obviously only there is Bukayo Saka fully fit to start 90 minutes? There's no need to take any risks, of course, I understand that. As for the left, I'm not so much worried about Anthony Gordon or Marcus Rashford, to be honest. It's the right side that concerns me, because I know Anthony Gordon can turn good. 2 assists yesterday, give him time, it's okay. And a lot of people have said, and I agree with this, that you want a side to get better, evolve. And in the case of England, it's been kind of, they had their best game in the first against Croatia, and since then they've kind of looked weary. It's not, I won't say they've regressed, because they probably had their worst game against Ghana, but there is still an element where you wonder, okay, will this be a continuous trend? And I predict it will be a continuous trend. Well, England will lack the chances, lack the creative aspect, and rightly so. That, you know, there's been a lot of questions as to who could unlock that creative aspect in the England team. You see Bellingham trying, you see Rice trying to come up, conjure a game plan. Doesn't work. So, you know, there's no point in grumbling about the team selection now. It's over, it's done with. So we'll only have to see what happens. I think, you know, in any argument you can always take a side. I'm choosing very much to stand on the yes side. I believe in Tuchel, I believe in his selection, I believe in his game plan. With that being said, I'm also open-minded that it can all go wrong. And round of 16, semi-finals could be the end of this. But this England team has done really, really well, and I'm confident that they can go a lot further. So we'll see where this leads to. I will be watching the game on Monday morning at 2 a.m. here in Germany. Not the best of times, but we will be there. We will bleed red and white, and we'll sing the national anthem loud and proud and support the Three Lions to beat Mexico in Mexico City in the Azteca, which will be an undeniably difficult fixture. Mexico have only lost on 2 occasions against Cape Verde and against some other team. So we'll see what happens. No time for predictions because we know how that ended last time. So fingers crossed. Come on, England.